good success technically. And so if it ain't broke, then why try to fix it? So it's all good here in St. Joseph, Missouri. Practice one in the books. We talked to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and George Karlaftis and Trey Smith after practice. We can listen to some of those comments. Maybe we could just play all of Patrick Mahomes. Jake's the producer. I produce content up here, and then he does what he wants with it. But good stuff yesterday from the interview tent, from the media tent, especially from Trey Smith. Hopefully, you had a chance to listen to Trey Smith. He had something in his eyes from practice, and so he had to briefly delay going to the podium as someone from Chiefs PR ran and got him a towel so he could wipe his eyes. But then he really got something in his eyes during the press conference because he was crying, and it was super emotional. And you've heard me talk about how much I like Trey Smith and what a good guy he is, and easy to interview, and always makes himself available, after games, win or lose, and during the week over at Arrowhead. And so he was asked, the main topic was him signing his contract extension before the July 15th trade deadline, or contract deadline for the Major League Baseball trade deadline's on my mind. Sorry, people. But the July 15th deadline for anyone that signed the franchise tag to sign a long-term deal. And, of course, that got done. And so we were talking to him about, how it felt and everything else and getting his reaction, because it's a special story, being a 6th-round pick who had medical issues, and that's why he fell so far in the draft. And there was no guarantee he was going to come in here and start. And he started right away. And I talked to him about that as well during the press conference. And so when he was asked about, what it felt like to be able to tell his family that he was signing that deal and that he had, he's already made it. But, that's really making it. Signing that deal, becoming the highest paid player at your position in the NFL, and being rewarded for all of your hard work. He had to pause, and he started to tear up. And so, that was certainly that's one of the more memorable moments that I've had in the interview tent up at training camp ever. And and this was not just getting choked up. He's a big man, gigantic tears streaming down his face, and he kept apologizing. And a couple of people in the media was like, "Hey, you're nothing to apologize for. Just go on." And he was very emotional the whole interview, but he was real and he was open. He was Trey Smith. And so let's just listen to this. This was, and I'm sure most people have heard it, but if you haven't, it's worth your time because, and it was everyone was emotional in the tent as this went on. Here's Trey Smith yesterday.
What did it all mean for you to go back to them and say, "Hey, I made it"?
Yeah, man. My bad. I lost my mom when I was 15, and I made 2 promises to her that I'll get my degree, play in the NFL. I didn't promise her I'd be the highest paid, but I made a promise, man, and my parents sacrificed so much for me to be here, so much, and to have that moment with them, it's special, bro. It's special, and it's something I won't take for granted, man. My bad.
And it just went on from there. He I don't think he really stopped crying for the next couple of minutes, just talking about his family and talking about the sacrifices that he made and what it meant to him to sign with the Chiefs. And so, man, it was good. It was really very powerful, is what I will say. Very powerful during the interview, during the media session. So, fellas, that was my main takeaway from yesterday. I mean, there was other good comments, and I asked a bunch of questions of everybody that was up at the podium. I'm sure you guys will play them I'll be on until about 7:45, then I'll head back over to practice. But it was that was something else, and it just makes you feel even better for the Chiefs signing Trey Smith, and super happy for Trey Smith getting rewarded for being one of the best guards in the league. And I can't, you hear it and you can watch the video, and of course you can see how emotional it was. But I always, like a dummy, run down the hill so I could sit front and center, and so I could ask a bunch of questions and be a part of what's going on, because that's why I'm up here. But just being right there with Trey Smith, man, it was heavy, man. And again, I reference this all the time because people that listen to the show know how much it impacted my life. It's one of those things, man. If you've lost your mom, if you lost your mother, and then you still see the pain in his eyes and hear the pain in his voice. Losing her 10 years ago. It's hard for me to believe. It's been 19 years now since my mom passed away, which that doesn't even seem right. It's been that long. But no, like my kids can ask me something about their grandma, or I take a lot of time to talk to the girls about my mom because they never met her. But, Richie was 9 and Phil was 3, and they were super close to my mom because she took care of them during the day while I was at work or while Susan was at work, and she spent a lot of time with them. She lived with us. And so I still at certain times will get choked up, and it doesn't go away, man. It goes, and you could just see for him that those emotions are still raw. So anyone that's lost their mom or lost a parent, you absolutely, that resonated with you. You could empathize with Trey Smith yesterday, but it was such it was just a powerful moment that we were all a part of, to see that. And that was, by far, that was the most interesting thing to me that came out of all of the discussions and practice and everything else. And so just get your thoughts, Nate Bukaty and Jake Gutierrez, about Trey Smith's brief comments there. And you can listen to the whole thing. He was really open and interesting and emotional throughout his entire media session.
Had me wiping away tears listening to it. And I'm fortunate enough, I guess, to say that I haven't gone through that experience yet of losing a parent. But just hearing the emotion in his voice, and I think a lot of people can identify with the concept of how much their parents have sacrificed to put them in positions to maybe have a better life than they did, to experience things they never got to experience. That's one of the things I really heard from Trey Smith, and that clip we just played was how much his parents sacrificed to put him in this position. And I think you get just a window into why he is now the highest paid player at his position. It's not just because he's physically gifted, right? There's something driving him. There's a passion that's very, very deep-rooted and personal to him that's caused him to do all the things that he's done in his career so far. And also, by the way, that signifies that this situation with the money isn't, I don't think, going to be something that all of a sudden makes him lose his motivation, because his motivation is much deeper and personal than that. So I think we're getting closer to this, but I wish people didn't feel the need to apologize for showing their emotions I know it's tough because when you do it in front of a group of people and you're trying to keep yourself composed and answer a question, but that's the most.
There was like 40 people in there in that media tent. So I think he was more apologizing just that.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's apologizing for.
Well, I think it's just an uncomfortable response. When you're uncomfortable, that's just kind of your response. And
it was in the visual of it. He was like looking up to the sky, and you could tell he was doing everything he could not to cry. But it's like there's nothing that's going to stop him from crying at this point. He was really thinking about it. You could tell he was really thinking about his mom and thinking about, and that's why so many people like Trey Smith, and so many people like talking with him, because it doesn't matter if it's something that heavy or a football question, or he'll sit there and a lot of athletes don't do this. Will thoughtfully listen to the question, try to come up with the best answer, and you're having a real conversation with him, because that's the kind of dude he is. And that's why so many people like him, and he's so popular in the locker room, and he's so easy to talk to, because when you interview him, when you talk with him, you're not just getting canned answers and coach speak and player speak. You're having a real conversation with a person that is a pretty freaking cool dude. And so,
And part of the reason he's the person he is everything he's been through, right? That's what shapes a person and gives. You don't think Trey Smith has better perspective on certain things that matter in life? Because of what he was forced to deal with at a really early age. I've witnessed that firsthand with my buddy Sean's kids and see the way they've grown up. They have a perspective on life that a kid shouldn't have to have, but because of what they've been through, they have that perspective, and it makes them beautiful people. And you can see that with Trey Smith. He's got a perspective on what matters, and that's why he was. That's why this contract is more than just a, hey, look at me, I got rich. It's a lot deeper than that for him.
Jake, I'm sure that resonated with you as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of I was watching it live yesterday as on YouTube and listening to it, and it just kind of caught me off guard. It's like, whoa, it kind of I was just listening, kind of had it up on my monitor, and then it just kind of came out of nowhere, and then it just kind of just drug me into wow, just pulled all my emotions into that moment. And it's almost like he felt like such a sense of accomplishment, and I think he felt him fulfilling a promise. I mean, that's when you're making a promise to someone and you're working hard to fulfill that, especially when they can't physically witness you fulfill it. It's I think there was a lot of emotions, both happy and obviously sad at the same time, being that his mom's not here to witness it, but also probably knowing that his mom's probably really damn proud of him. So it was, for sure an emotional moment that kind of came out of nowhere for me when I was watching it, and just kind of immediately, like a magnet, just drew me right in. It's like, wow, kind of just really tugged at your heartstrings.
So there's some other stuff we play. I also asked Trey Smith, we play this later, either when I'm on or after I leave, played a clip of just, talking to him about, hey, you had some medical issues, it caused you to fall in the draft, and then you got drafted by the Chiefs, and you came in here, and no one really expected you when you were drafted to compete for a starting spot, and you came in here and you played lights out, and you won a starting spot, and you were, day one starter as a rookie. I said, it's not the same thing, but Josh Simmons, he fell in the draft a little bit. He had due to some different medical issues, but medical issues when he was first drafted, nobody thought that he'd be able to compete right away. And there he was running with the ones yesterday. And so I asked Trey Smith about giving him advice, competing for a starting spot as a rookie, and ultimately seizing a starting spot as a rookie. So we'll hear Trey Smith talk about that, but he gave a really good answer there. And some other stuff. I asked Patrick Mahomes his reaction, how excited he was for Trey Smith and George Karlaftis to sign. I also asked Patrick Mahomes about being motivated, getting pissed off about people finding new ways to doubt him around the NFL. And so we'll listen to that answer and talk to George Karlaftis about wanting to stay in Kansas City and how important that was, and how much that played into him signing at the time that he did before training camp started, because it takes two to tango, right? And I think a lot of people feel like it was very important, not only for the Chiefs, but very important for Karlaftis because he loves it here and he fits in so well to Spags' defense. And why wouldn't you want to stay and play next to Chris Jones when he takes up multiple blockers on so many plays every game and gives you a chance to succeed, and also you get a chance to win championships. So lots of good stuff from all the interview opportunities yesterday out here at Chiefs training camp. Also, the Royals, well, hey, let's score 12 runs one night, and then the offense can absolutely go to sleep the next night. Okay. There it is. That's awesome. No, it's not. And so the Royals lose, although Rich Hill, Dick Mountain did pitch well, I thought. Look, what else can you expect from a 45-year-old starter coming up from AAA and trying to give you a chance to win? 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 of them earned, 90 pitches in his 5 innings, but they lose 6-0 because the offense went back to sleep. Too inconsistent. Just when you feel like you want to jump back on the bandwagon and hope they can put some wins together before the trade deadline, after scoring 12 runs, they score nothing. And so they'll be back at it again this afternoon. And, guys, this is a very, very important game. Number one, everything's still up in the air. They're 4.5 games out of a wild card. They have several teams in front of them. But now Seth Lugo's name is being talked about more and more in trade circles. And Buster Olney had a blurb about Seth Lugo in the latest trade buzz at ESPN.com, and we'll get Buster Olney's information about the Royals. But Seth Lugo, it's July 23rd. Trade deadline's July 31st. Is this his last start this season as a Royal? Is he auditioning for a team that's very interested in him? Is he auditioning for the team that he ultimately gets traded to in the Chicago Cubs? Because several reports are out there that the Cubs have checked in with the Royals and they want starting pitching. And they have some offensive firepower that is blocked right now at the major league level that the Royals should and could be interested in. And so Lugo, number one, he's pitching to try to help the Royals win this series and try to get back in the race. But also he's pitching against a team that's interested in him and would like to trade for him. And there are other teams that are interested in Seth Lugo. So no matter how you look at it, this is a big start for Seth Lugo and the Royals. No matter what you think the Royals should do, buy or sell, this is a gigantic start for Lugo. Because if you want him to buy and you want him to chase down a wild card spot, then you want Seth Lugo to pitch well. Of course you do. Or if you want him to sell and you've given up, you want Seth Lugo to go out there and, as Jake says, shove against the Cubs, because you want more teams to be interested in him. And you want the Cubs to look at him and say, wow, we couldn't hit him. Let's trade for him. Can't beat him, join him. Let's go. And so, big start. That's all I can tell you. And the Royals, they lost last night, but they are still going for the series win at 1:20 p.m., an afternoon affair. No, not that kind of affair where you're the CEO of a company and you're having an affair with the head of HR. I'm talking about an afternoon affair of baseball with the Royals and the Cubs, Jake. Don't get it twisted, buddy. Enough of these CEO, head of HR affairs. We're talking about Royals baseball. Okay? You smart mouth?
Maybe some CEOs want to go to the Cubs game today, though. Who's going to stop them?
Head of HR.
Or not.
Well, let's take a break. I don't know what I just talked myself into a circle. I was afraid Jake was going to play some Coldplay. You better not.
I mean, it's better to get busted like that at a Cubs game than a Coldplay concert.
Hello.
Yeah, well, you never want to get busted at a Coldplay concert. I told Jake if I was happened to be at a Coldplay concert and I was just standing there by myself, I'd shriek from embarrassment just being on the screen.
Right.
No, don't. I'm not here, please. No, God. Dear God, no.
You guys might have already used this line, but a
hate
buddy
it.
of mine said, "What? Imagine this being the way you found out that your husband's a Coldplay fan."
Yeah, terrible. All right, we'll take a break. Nate laughs at the despair of families. We'll take a break. Back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Stephen St. John here for Custom Lawn and Landscape. You can give them a call at 913-586-2753. Great people at Custom Lawn and Landscape, and they've done a wonderful job on my lawn and in my backyard. They're awesome. They make achieving a green, weed-free lawn easy with their expert 7-step fertilization and weed control program. With over 40 years of experience serving Johnson County, they are so excited to now be serving Lawrence and all of Kansas City as well, including the Northland. And you can get your first application absolutely free. Plus, their expert grub control is guaranteed to prevent lawn damage before it even starts. So don't settle for a patchy, weedy yard. Grab the lush, healthy lawn you deserve. Call Custom Lawn today at 913-586-2753 or visit customlawn.com to claim your free application and get started. Custom Lawn and Landscape, because beautiful lawns don't happen by accident. Welcome back to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll take a quick break from football and baseball and talk about something more important that's very meaningful to me. You know that my uncle Richie battled ALS and passed away from ALS, and I've been on the advisory board for the ALS Association for a long time, decade and a half, at least 15 years or so. And so in my work with the ALS Association, I had a chance to meet our next guest, Jamie Smith, and her husband Scott, who was also battling ALS and who has unfortunately since passed away. They were guests on my podcast they were like in studio for like an hour. I had a wonderful conversation with them. And now Jamie continues the fight against ALS with a big event that is taking place coming up on July 25th, this Friday, the Flex on ALS tournament and after party. And so I wanted to talk to Jamie and get the word out there for people that want to get involved. Jamie, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well. Good to talk to you. Good to hear your voice. And so if you would, just tell people a little bit about Scott and, how we got to know you and what went into to starting this golf tournament.
All right. So Scott and I got married in 2017. He was a personal trainer. He owned a personal training gym, super athletic. He played football, did wrestling at Truman State. So he was in great shape. So it was a big surprise when he was 39 years old and was diagnosed with ALS. We had a 1-year-old girl at the time, and I was pregnant with our second girl when we found out. So it was tough, but Scott and I decided that we were going to fight it and get involved, and he was in research trials. We fought for changes in different laws about funding for ALS. And we got the word out about ALS, and that's how we met you. We met George Brett and Tom Watson, everybody here in Kansas City that is fighting ALS and to end it. So we quickly found out that the disease is super expensive. By the time Scott was fully paralyzed, I had a newborn and a 2-year-old, and I just couldn't take care of everybody. And we had to hire somebody to help him, and we were paying like $8,000 to $10,000 a month on caregiving. And so his friends and family decided to start a golf tournament to raise money for us, and that happens in Lawrence. Scott is from Lawrence, and they do a golf tournament and an after party and an auction to raise money for us. And after Scott passed in 2022, his family decided that they wanted to keep doing it. And I think they wanted to keep doing it just to remember Scott and also flex on ALS. That was something that Scott did. He started a movement of flexing for people who can't. And I wanted to continue doing it more to pay it forward. So we got so much help and love in our community. And so now I try to find families who were in similar situations with young kids struggling with ALS and need the financial help. And so now we raise money every year for those families. This year we're raising money for a 31-year-old with a 3 and a 5-year-old at home and a wife. He's been fighting ALS for 3 years. His name is Joey. And so this Friday, if anybody's in Lawrence, near Lawrence, likes to golf, we have a golf tournament at the Lawrence Country Club. And afterwards at 5:30, we have an after party that has beer from Discourse Brewery, which made a special ALS beer that raises money for ALS research. Scott's brother, Drew, got that going. And we have great barbecue, auction items, and it's at Rick's Place in Lawrence at 5:30. So you can get tickets. You can visit my Instagram at Jamie Wolversmith, and you can see a link on my bio on how to get tickets. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
And so for people that they can, if they don't golf, they can go to the after party.
Yes.
right?
Yeah. For the golf, there's a few spots left, and you have to sign up by tomorrow at noon. But yeah, if you're not a golfer like me, come join me at the after party at 5:30. And the auction items, it's a lot of KU stuff. So as a Mizzou grad, Stephen, you understand. I'm not that excited about that stuff, but we also have like Tom Watson donated stuff and gift baskets, that kind of stuff. So.
And look, for people that would like maybe to donate money, or if they just want to try to bid or do something to help, again, tell people the best way that they could get involved, even if they can't play golf or they can't attend, or if they want to donate, what can they do to try to offer some support?
So again, the link is on my Instagram bio, Jamie Wolversmith. And also you can email flexonals@gmail.com if you'd like to get involved or donate. If you'd like to learn more about our story, Scott wrote a beautiful blog on his website, flexonals.com, to learn more about him and ALS.
And so, Jamie, I know that this is obviously something that is very important to you, but also, your kids being reminded of who their father was and continuing to do this in his memory. I think that's a beautiful thing that you guys have continued to do this event and try to raise money and to try to find people that are going through something similar to what you went through. I can't tell you how much respect I have for you and how awesome I think this is for you to continue to do this. Tell me how are your kids? How's your family? I try to keep up with you guys on Facebook and on Instagram, but it looks like everyone's doing well right now.
Yeah, we honestly really are. Iris is 6. She is about to start first grade, and Hope is 4, and she's in preschool, and they're just finding their own friends, their own activities, and it's such a joy and a privilege to watch them grow. And, Scott would have done anything to see it, but I think we're in a really good place, and we miss him, of course, every day, but we just try to focus on what we have and not what we lost, and living in the moment, because we just try to do everything that Scott couldn't. It's not easy to stay in that ALS fight, and I have so much respect for you, Stephen, for continuing to do it, and we're just so appreciative that you continue to give us a voice in the ALS world. So thanks, Stephen.
As long as you have this event or do anything to try to help other families, you can count me in. And so, again, tell people, the timing, where the golf tournament is, when they have to, what the deadline is for that, and if they just want to go to the after party, just give us all the information we need, again, for anyone that's out there listening.
Okay, so golf tournament at the Lawrence Country Club this Friday. That starts at 9 a.m. You can sign up by tomorrow. You can find the sign up on my Instagram at Jamie Wolversmith. You can also email flexonals@gmail.com for more information or to donate. The after party is at Rick's Place. It starts at 5:30. $40 for a ticket gets you food, beer, fun, access to look at the auction items, and that money goes to, again, a 31-year-old battling ALS with 2 young kids.
And so anyone that wants to be a part of that, and also I'll share, all that information on my social media platforms. And Jamie, I know it's difficult to continue to fight this and fight ALS, but I think it's just awesome what you're doing. Scott was a great person. You're a great person, and I'm so happy your family's doing well. And anytime you need help from us, just let us know. And I hope this event's a big success, and you raise a bunch of money and continue to fight ALS. Jamie, thank you so much for the time. And anything else you need, just let us know, and hopefully the event's going to be a big success on Friday.
All right. Thank you so much, Stephen, for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jamie. We'll talk soon. That's Jamie Smith. And just email flexonals@gmail.com at gmail.com. I think that'll probably be the easiest, and just reach out to Jamie and let her know if you'd like to make a donation for the auction, or just, a donation of money or time that would go a long way. And I'm telling you, you can go back to the archives of Hot Mic with SSJ and look for the podcast that I did with Jamie and Scott. I had them here in the studio, and we talked for about an hour, and it was very emotional, but still one of my favorite podcasts because it meant so much to me, and to have everyone there. And it's also a good way, I think, for Jamie and her kids to be able to look back and just remember Scott. So very great family. And I know it's difficult doing what they're doing, but that's so inspirational that they're trying to find other families that are going through something similar and help them out. So send them an email, flexonals@gmail.com, if you would like to help them out, and I'll share all the stuff later on my social media platforms. We'll take a break back after this on WHB. All right, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here to tell you more about Healthy Sleep Midwest. I've been sleeping very well up here in St. Joe, and that wasn't always the case because I have battled sleep apnea in the past. I've had trouble snoring. You can ask my wife about that. She'll readily tell you about that. But you know what? I'm not snoring as much anymore, so that's a good thing. And I'm sleeping better. And look, I tried to use a CPAP machine, and it just didn't work for me. I know there's a lot of people out there that have symptoms or are battling sleep apnea, and the CPAP just isn't right for them. That's why you should contact my friends at Healthy Sleep Midwest and see if they could be an option for you, because I started to use a custom-fitted oral appliance, and it's been a game changer. It's only the size of a retainer, super easy to wear, and I'm sleeping better than I ever have. And look, if you wake up and you have dry mouth, heartburn, if you're battling weight issues, if you're just not getting quality sleep, then perhaps you are dealing with sleep apnea as well. But here's the deal. You don't have to search for answers. You can get the answers because they're just a phone call away if you call my friends at Healthy Sleep Midwest. Call 816-SLEEP-DOCTOR, 816-SLEEP-DR, or you could visit healthysleepmidwest.com. They have a friendly, knowledgeable team that will help you figure it out. No pressure, just answers. And this summer, you can wake up feeling like yourself again. 816-SLEEP-DR, 816-SLEEP-DOCTOR, or visit healthysleepmidwest.com and tell them Stephen St. John sent you. Welcome back to New Day with SSJ on Sports Radio 810 WHB. For Mike Boddicker, thanks for letting me cut into your time to talk to Jamie, because that was very important.
Very important. Very, very important.
And you know how,
Oh,
we've all been involved in organizing and putting together charity events, and just
yeah. And there's just so much more that needs to be done. That's the sad part. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's such an awesome lady, and
I remember
Scott,
the podcast. Yes.
Yeah, Scott was awesome, and so any way I can try to help them.
Yep.
Spread the word. I do that. So thank you.
You can cut
Mike.
into my time anytime for that.
Nate tried to say just cut into the entire hour and a half.
Yeah,
he wanted
why
to
not?
talk about soccer, and I said no.
We
don't
were
do
just
that.
talking about that.
Oh, really?
If you can believe
that's
that.
a shock. That's a surprise to me. It's very odd that there would be someone in there in the commercial break. Nate would talk to them about.
No,
soccer.
I brought it up. I said there's
did you?
no possible way that all this construction is going to be done by the time the World Cup gets here.
Yeah, were your eyes blinded by his erection when you brought up soccer?
Wow.
Right. Hello. Right to it. I like that, Steve. No, there's a little desk in front of me. I never would have noticed.
Is Jake laughing? That's all I care
You
about.
wouldn't have noticed anyway.
Jake laughing?
Yeah, that's right.
I want Jake.
Only laughing because it's true.
Okay. Sorry, I needed to make myself laugh.
Oh
there
yeah,
for a
a
minute,
little
so
humor after.
He's going to have to sit down behind this desk for a while. It's like being a freshman in high school again,
Oh, jeez.
Hope the teacher doesn't call my name and ask me to go up to the chalkboard.
Oh. Mike.
Yes,
Mike,
Steve.
Mike. Is Seth Lugo? Where's he going to be after July 31st?
That's a really good question. Like you said earlier, he's auditioning right now. We don't know. I mean, I told Jake before I came on, I says, listen, I want to switch time slots with Bluma because every time he comes in, they win the night before. Every time I come in, we lose. We stink. And it's just...
But what does that tell you?
Well, I came in for Bluma on Tuesday. Was it last week?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, and we'd won.
Yeah, they won.
Yeah,
So-
but what is that? I mean, I'm being serious. What does that tell you?
That they're just...
They win on Monday nights.
Yeah, that's it.
And then what?
Then they go right back to the old Royals.
They don't. This is who they've been all year, right?
All year long, yeah.
They get you thinking they're good for a little bit, and then they get you thinking
Get your
they're
hopes
not.
up, and then, I mean,
they've
all of
been
a sudden they put
mediocre
12
team.
runs up, and you go, oh, wow, okay, here we go. And then, but I will say this, Boyd was really good last night. He's really good.
He is good.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, you got to tip your hat a little bit to the pitcher right there, too.
How about Dick Mountain? He was pretty good.
He threw every old thing you could think of. I was sitting there going, I've been there. I know. You're humping up trying to get to a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, which is almost impossible at this stage of his life. But he did, and he was grunting and groaning, and he was gassed in the fifth. You could just look at him going, oh, yeah, I've been there. I know that. Yep. Yeah, it's just it's pretty tough. He did good. I mean, he gave up 1 earned run and 5. Well, you can't ask for much more than that. We did kick the ball around a little bit. We had bad base running again, where we could have made a difference. We get doubled up with the bases loaded on a line drive where you're supposed to freeze and get back. We didn't. Why is our base running so stinking bad all year long? Gosh.
Because they feel like they've got to do extra on the bases because they can't hit.
Well, it just takes you out of innings is all it does. Takes you out of innings.
But don't you think that's part of it? Like you feel it's like you feel
Yeah,
you
I'm
gotta
trying
do
to
something
squeak
more.
another
You
run
gotta
across.
Yeah.
It's like a safety squeeze when you're down by 2 in the 6th inning or what. You're going, really? That's the best we can do is a safety squeeze right here? I mean, we got a bunt single out of it, but I'm going, wow, okay. That tells you probably shouldn't be hitting if you don't think if that's the best you can do. I don't know.
I have a question that somebody asked me.
Football question?
No, it's a baseball
Okay.
question. And I understand matchups and analytics.
Do you?
everything
I
else.
don't. I can care less.
This is going to go down I know
Ooh.
this is going to take us down a bad road. Why? And it was a very simple question somebody asked me last night, and I said, well, that's manager makes his moves. Why do you change the lineup at all the day after you score 12 runs?
I don't know, because the analytics say that this guy does better against this guy, and I like a set lineup, and if you need a day off, you give a guy a day off. Otherwise, you got your guys out there and you stick with them, especially when you're hot. You don't change up. And analytics seems to do that. They go on numbers. It doesn't tell you who's hot and who's not.
Right. But why? Just like,
I don't know. I don't care for I don't care for it.
But isn't baseball like part of motion and just you feeling good? Okay, this lineup put up 12 runs.
Yeah. Put them back out there.
Let's just go
ride that hot horse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's do that. Let's do that again.
Yep. I agree.
Nate, Jake, anything there?
Well, isn't the old saying in baseball though that momentum is only as good as your next day's starting pitcher?
Yeah, but
the guy they faced, you said it. He was good.
Boyd was good, but hey, 1 run, 5, 1 earned and 5. We kicked the ball around. We had guys in different positions and different. I mean, we kicked the ball around a lot last night. We did not play well defensively.
Yeah. I'm trying to come up with the answer to Steven's question in terms of like that. Do people believe in momentum in baseball or not? Because I mean,
I do.
Mac was the one that always say that to me. Like, hey, momentum's great, but if you run into a great starting pitcher the next day, your momentum's gone.
But also, if you have a lineup that just put up 12, wouldn't that be the best chance you have against going against their best starting pitcher?
I feel like sometimes we especially in baseball, we overthink things. Like, okay, this lineup just scored 12 runs. I'm going to put the same lineup out there the next day because they're hot.
You know who
good.
can answer your question probably?
What?
Buster. Buster's coming on, right?
Yes.
He's a lot smarter than I am, so maybe he could answer that question for you.
It's an oversimplification, but I don't think it's ridiculous to say that.
Oh,
like,
I don't either. I think it's a great question. Why?
They just scored 12, the season high. I'm not going to dig with it. Here I go again, boy.
Oh
Man.
boy,
I have a filthy mouth.
Well, you go to St. Joe and all the rules go out the window. Everything.
Jake, do you see what I mean? Is that like?
No,
it's not a stupid question, is it? I mean,
it's not. No.
Okay.
It makes all the sense in the world to me, but what do I know? I'm an idiot.
Wow.
I played for 14 years, and I'm an idiot. So,
Guess that's
Bluma, he's an idiot. I mean, we're all idiots.
Yeah.
We all screw up every day. So, yeah.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Stephen St. John here from my friends at Diamonds Direct. They are awesome. And whenever I go to Diamonds Direct off of 119th and Row, I'm treated like a VIP. And you will be treated like a VIP as well because that's just how they do things at Diamonds Direct. And anytime I have a big event or need to buy something special for that special someone in my life, I head to Diamonds Direct, talk to the GM Angie or David, the store manager, or my man Tom, and they take great care of me. And let me tell you, right now, Diamonds Direct has an awesome opportunity for you. Right now, through July 27th, you can get an extra 20% off almost everything in the store. Well, that's awesome, isn't it? And so how about this? It's the biggest jewelry event of the season, and you don't have to wait for the weekend to shop it. For the first time ever, the pre-sale has already started, so you can shop now, still save 20% off, and then you'll find exclusive collections from top designers in-store for 1 weekend only, this weekend, July 25th through the 27th. And if you want the full VIP treatment, book an appointment and shop with the experts. These are the kind of deals and styles you won't see again until next year. So go see my friends at Diamonds Direct off 119th and Row, and when you go to Diamonds Direct, tell them SSJ sent you.
New Day with SSJ is presented by Walker Medical Linen Services, locally owned and operated. HLAC certified to the highest medical laundry standards. Walker has partnerships with hospitals,